This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Welcome to Covered in Pet Hair, a boozy web show for pet lovers on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arata, and today I have the pleasure of having a drink with a very funky, somewhat witchy, international best-selling author. I will tell you all about her and introduce you as soon as we come back from these messages from our sponsors. Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Arata, and today I have the pleasure of having a drink and a chat with a pet parent, an animal communicator, an international best-selling author, entrepreneur, founder, influencer, a grief support expert, a speaker, a cat person and dog person, road tripper, beach lover, fitness fanatic, former New Jerseyan, current New Hampshireite, Rick's hubcap, aka wife, dogma to Addie, aka Miss Addie Pants, keeper of all the wildlife in her backyard, kind of like Snow White, and retired competitive ballroom dancer, Wendy Van de Poll. Welcome, Wendy.
Hi, Isabel. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so jealous of your glasses.
Well, I told you where you could get them.
Yes, I'm going to call your friend who has an optometry studio with fabulous finds, because
Yes.
I need a pair like that. Anybody listening or viewing who is participating in our drinking game, every time you hear this word, take a drink of whatever you're imbibing, but please be sure to drink responsibly and never drink and drive. P.S. You have to be 21 and over to drink even on this show. All right. So the way I start this show is asking my guests what they are imbibing during our show, because this is meant to be kind of like a visit at a bar, if it was, possible to go anywhere and see friends right now. So what are you drinking today, Wendy?
Oh, I am drinking something very special. But first, can I get my scarf off? It's hot.
Oh, tell me about your scarf. Tell me about this scarf.
Well, I'm wearing this in tribute to the name of your show, Covered in Pet Hair. And this is literally pet hair. It's from all of my Samoyeds. I've had 4 of them in my life, and so this is all 4, and it's a beautiful scarf. But it's hot and it's extremely itchy, so I want to get it off.
Get it off. But tell me more about this scarf. Who made this for you?
I did. I hired a professional spinner, so she spun all the yarn for me, and then I knitted it. So it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So it lives on the back of my couch. And yeah,
it is absolutely gorgeous. How
Yes.
did you get the hair from the pets?
Brushing.
And they were well groomed prior, I assume.
Yes, I used to show Samoyeds, so my dogs were meticulous. The poor guys, they were always getting brushed. So I saved garbage bags full of dog hair. And so I was able to make this beautiful scarf as a memorial to them. So I feel like I have them really close and cuddly with me.
I love that. And that is definitely right on brand for Covered in Pet Hair, for sure.
Yes. So, but it's itchy. So it's
itchy, which happens, right? My radar is itchy too. When his hair gets on me, I get all itchy. So I totally hear that.
Yeah.
So what are you drinking?
All right. I am drinking the Spellwood Witches Winter Solstice Brew. All right. What you'll learn today in this podcast, in this interview, is I write under a pen name Melanie Snow, and I write paranormal cozy mysteries. And it's about the Spellwood Witches. So this is a special brew that I have been making for years. And I gave Isabel the recipe so she can share it with you all.
I definitely will.
Yes. And it's high quality brandy. You got to get all the good stuff, guys. All right, get good stuff. Because it won't taste as good. And then it has cinnamon in it. It has, vanilla beans, cacao chips. When you're all done with it, it takes about 6 weeks to make. But then when you're done with it, you can put a little bit of maple syrup in it. It's so good. So you only need a little bit, and then like you can give it away as gifts, or put a little thing in there.
That is so cool. I love
Yeah.
that. Well, I am having a Bloody Mary, and it's funny that you should say that it takes 6 weeks to make your brew, because this took over a week to make, and
Wow.
I did not make it. This is a shout out to my husband who made it. He's become my like husbander for the show. He like he's a bartender. He like gives me ideas. He's like my creative director. So he has all his say in this show, which is really funny because usually he doesn't have much to add to what I'm doing when pet care. Most of the time he's learning, but he has all sorts of fun ideas. So I've let him take
that.
Yeah, he's like taking the reins when it comes to cocktails. So he found out that I was going to do an earlier show, and he asked me what I was planning on drinking. And usually I drink like cocktails or wine, but 10 a.m., not so much for cocktails or wine. So I said, I love Bloody Marys. I might make one of those. And he said, Alton Brown has this recipe that he calls the best Bloody Mary in the world, and I'm gonna make that. But I had no idea he was gonna be infusing tomatoes and vodka for a week.
What a sweetie to do
Right?
that, right?
And it's delicious.
Oh my goodness!
And he garnished it and everything. Cheers to you, Wendy, for being here,
Cheers,
and
Isabel.
Chris for making me a very
Chris.
delicious drink. All right, so now that we're done with the drinks, let's play a game. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so this game is called Fact or Fiction, and I'm going to tell you 10 titles of books that have to do with pets, cats and dogs.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you to tell me if those books actually exist or if I have created them out of thin air.
Okay.
Okay? So when I say the title, you say either fact, the book exists, or fiction, Isabel made it up. That is definitely not on the best list.
Okay.
Ready to go? Let's start. All right. The first one, Zoe, the Droopy-Eyed Hound by Elizabeth Warrington.
Oh, I'm going to say fact.
False. That's my sister-in-law and her dog, Zoe.
It's a great title.
Right? Okay. I'm going to let her know. I have the title for her.
Okay.
97 Ways to Make a Cat Like You by Carol Kaufman.
Oh my goodness gracious. 97 Ways to Make a Cat Like You. These are all great titles, and I'm going to say it's fact.
It is fact. That book actually exists. Ready? Number 3, Throw the Damn Ball, Classic Poetry by Dogs by R.D. Rosen.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah.
It definitely is.
Yes.
Norbert's Little Life Lessons for a Big Life by Julie Steins.
I'm going to say that's fact because wasn't there a famous internet dog for a while, Norwood?
It's Norbert's Little Lessons for a Big Life, but it is fact.
It's
You're
fact.
right.
Yeah.
Counter Surfing for Dummies by Bill R. Pretty and Maxwell Hamhock.
No.
That one was an easy one. Maxwell
that was
Hamhock.
an easy one. Hamhock threw it away.
How to Raise a Jewish Dog by the Rabbis of Boca Raton Theological Seminary.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I want that one to be fact, but I'm going to say it's fiction. It is fact.
It's fact. I have not read it, but it sounds amazing.
It sounds so great.
All right, we have 4 more. Sam's House of Dogshin by Grace Brock Duriraj.
Oh, fiction. No, it
Fiction.
doesn't exist.
That's my best friend, Grace, and her dog, Sam.
Okay. Yeah.
Cookie Meets Peanut by Bethany Frankel.
Cookie Meets Peanut. That sounds like a kid's book. I'm going to take a chance and go with fact.
It is. It's a kid's book. And it's written by one of my favorite Real Housewives of New York City, formerly, Bethany Frankel. So yeah, it's real.
Okay, cool.
I Could Pee on This by Francesco Marciulano.
Another great title. I'm going to say it's fact.
Yeah. It is. It is.
Yeah.
And last one, Why My Cat is More Impressive Than Your Baby by Matthew Inman.
That's hysterical. That's a bumper sticker. I'm going to say that one's fiction.
It's fact. That exists. That's actually written with the author Matthew Inman and The Onion, I think. So I think it's just like a satire book. But
Okay.
I think I need to get my hands on it.
I know. It sounds great. They all sound great.
It does. It was a fun game. So thanks
Yes.
for humoring me with that.
You bet.
I just want to kind of dig into you now because you are an author, and I want to know when you first published your book, the first book you published, when was that? And how many books have you published since?
Okay. My first book was 2015, and that was My Dog is Dying. What do I do as a pet loss grief person? And up to now, today, I have 23 books in publication. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Slow clap.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you've been busy.
I've been busy. Yeah. I'm a full-time author. In the beginning, I did it more like, I would say more than part-time, because I was also doing a lot of pet loss grief work. And over the years, I just found that, I still do my pet loss grief work, but I found that I was reaching more people with my books and my blogging and all of that. So it basically now I'm pretty much full time. I still do the pet loss grief, but it's and the animal communication for sure. But I have 8 in pet loss and 3 books in the pet business world, like how to blog, what kind of jobs are out there for if you want to be in the pet industry, and also how to become a pet entrepreneur. I'm in 3 anthologies, and I also have 5 fiction books out under the name of Melanie Snow, which I mentioned in the beginning. And 12 of those all my books have been bestsellers. So
that's amazing.
I've been busy. And
congratulations.
Yes. Oh, and I have children's books. I have 4 children's books called The Adventures of Miss Addie Pants.
Yes.
Yes.
Miss Addie Pants, named after Addie, your
Addie, my dog. Yes.
What breed is she?
Addie is a mixed breed. She's a rescue. She's part border collie, part husky, and part golden retriever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for rescuing her.
Yes.
She's a lucky girl.
Yes, she is.
So you have contributed to various genres. Why did you transition to fiction? What made that happen?
Isabel, I always wanted to write fiction. Always. And I'm a voracious reader. I mean, I always have books on my Kindle, and I'm going through 2 or 3 books a week, And I was like, I would read and I would love the books I was reading, but I'm like, I could do something different than this, or this is how I would do it. Or if I was reading a book that wasn't very good, I could do this so much better. Or if I was reading a book that was excellent, I have to remember this when I write my book, is that word crafting is just incredibly beautiful. It's always been in my heart, more so than nonfiction. Nonfiction, I love, and it's very easy for me to write nonfiction. Finally, when I felt like I got the books out that I needed to for that, I said, all right, I'm ready for fiction now. I will tell you, it was one of the scariest things to do. And I'm a very adventurous person, and I like to take chances. It was when I finally made that decision, it's time, 2.5 years ago, it was scary because I knew I was going to have to put on a completely different hat. It wasn't that comfortable for me because, one, I wasn't a fiction writer.
Right.
I didn't know what the heck I was doing. In fact, I was told by my 8th grade teacher that I was she bullied me basically in front of class. And she said, you cannot write and you will never be able to write. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. And if I don't even remember her name, but if I knew her now, I would very kindly say, look at me.
26 books at her doorstep.
Right. Here you go. And I've even autographed them for you. So it was a big learning experience for me to dive in to the fiction realm. Now I have a lot of confidence. I feel very accomplished. I feel like I've got it down, and I feel that I can easily now switch. When I need to write something nonfiction, I can. When I need to write fiction, I can. One of the things that did help was having a pen name. That was really helpful.
I was going to ask you why you had that. So did that something that just come to you at one moment?
Well, a pen name is strategy. So if I didn't write on Amazon, I'd probably keep my own name, but Amazon it has gremlins, and the gremlins are cranky and they have their ways of doing things. So to get my book out to as many readers that read cozy mysteries, I had to pick a pen name. And and so it took me a long time to come up with my pen name, and because I wanted something environmental, because I've got a degree in environmental biology, so I wanted something like that. But I also wanted something very cozy and witchy, and soft. So that's how I got Melanie Snow.
I loved Melanie Snow.
It
works for you too. Like, even though you look like a Melanie Snow, you could totally
I feel like it.
I love it. So tell me, what are Melanie Snow's books about?
The series is called The Spellwood Witches. There's 5 books in the series. The first one is Witch's Tale. It's Tail. Second one is Howl Play. Then Tale of a Feather, Implausible Mischief, and Paw Trail. So that's the fun thing about writing cozies, is that there's a play on words. It's light and sweet and fun and romantic. And I write paranormal. So being an animal communicator and medium, I've got all the background. So my protagonist, Sarah, is a direct descendant of Lativia Spellwood, who escaped being burned at the stake. And she's a ghost now, and Sarah is a budding witch. She's getting to know her roots, but she's an attorney in real life, and a high-powered attorney. And she moves to the small town in New Hampshire called Witchland, New Hampshire. And each book, she gets an animal guide. So she get, a power animal, a totem. She saves something that has to do with the environment. She has a familiar. So because she's a budding witch, and of course her familiar is Addie, my familiar, because it's important to write what you know.
Right.
And then she has her budding coven. So she's bringing in the women that are helping her throughout the series to become the witch she really is. And of course, there's the hunky police chief, Eli Strongheart, who's gorgeous. Little wishy-washy in the beginning, he's got a little bit of issues, but he blossoms, and he steps up to the plate. He's good. So there's a little bit of fun romance.
That's so fun. See, I'm a budding witch too myself.
Yes,
yes. But I'm taken. I have my hunky police
officer
/ army officer downstairs. Like I'm good on that. But I'm a budding witch. I even wore my witchy.
I love that. Yes, I love that.
I wore my witchy shirt so that I could be in the vibe.
Yes.
But I cannot wait to get my hands on these books. How long did it take you to write them? Like, because there's 5.
There's 5 of them. Let's see. I keep saying 2.5. I think it's longer than that now. I think it's probably a little over 3 years I started writing those. And I got them all done before I started releasing them. So right now, number 3 is out. Number 4 is up for pre-order. But they'll all be released by the end of January.
So do you always do it that way? Do you always write the bulk of the series at the beginning and then
fiction, yes. In fiction, yes. Yeah. Especially if you're doing a series. It's important depends on your genre too, Isabel. You definitely don't need to do that for nonfiction. Okay. Nonfiction readers read slower. Paranormal or even just plain old cozy mystery people, and I'm take it from my own, because that's what I read mostly, is we want our books So when we finish a book, we want to make sure that book is there. So it's very important to have the books available for your readers.
Right.
So they
right.
have it. Right. Right.
That is awesome. So you obviously are not only an author, but you're an expert in the field.
Yes. Yes.
And I want to dig more into that, because a lot of our viewers and listeners on Pet Life Radio are probably aspiring authors themselves.
Yay.
So we're going to dig more into that as soon as we come back from these messages from our sponsors. Welcome back to Covered in Pet Hair. I'm your host, Isabel Alvarez-Rada, and I am here with international best-selling author of fiction and nonfiction, Wendy Van de Poll. Sorry, I messed up your name. Wendy Van de Poll. I checked it before I even came on the show. So I want Wendy to educate us on all things authorship. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So what is the first step that an aspiring author would take to become an author?
It's a fabulous question. And it's one that can really hang us up, as budding authors. And the first thing that I recommend for people to do is get really clear on what you want to write. All right. And do you want to write fiction? Do you want to write nonfiction? You don't have to have details. All right. This is not a time for details. Just what do you want to write, so that you can start the forward momentum of creativity, whether, again, I'm speaking nonfiction, fiction, because nonfiction is also creative. So you want to know that. You also want to start getting the steps clear. Okay. All right, I'm writing a fiction book. So what goes into a fiction book? What do I need to get? I need to know my avatar. I need to know how to mind map. Want to know, am I a pantser or a plotter? Do I want to just do this for love, or do I want to do this to write to market so that I'm selling books and making a living? I help a lot of people get to that place. Okay. Do your research. Whether people are working with me or not, I really stress upon do your research. It's important. And don't quit your day job.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Definitely don't quit your day job. It's not a cheap venture. If you want to do quality, okay? If you want to do quality, it's not cheap. It's an expensive hobby. It's not cheap whether you do self-publishing or publishing, traditional publishing. And it's a lot of hard work. So have that in mind. If you can, don't let the self-doubt cloud. That's the big one. I remember before I became an author, when I was in undergraduate school and graduate school, I had mentors that said, you need to be writing. You are an author. You are a born author, writing. I had so much self-doubt at that time, Isabel. I couldn't do it. That was in the 80s and the 90s. I couldn't do it. And so that's, again, is just say, okay, if you have that thing, I can't do it. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I have enough money. I don't think I have enough time. I think. Plow through that if you can.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that's probably the hardest step, right?
That's the hardest step.
Putting yourself back.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you mentioned self-publishing or working with a publishing house. What's the benefit of either way? Okay.
All right. Well, I'm coming from the indie publishing world. I did research back in the day before self-publishing was a thing in the 80s and the 90s, traditional. Honestly, to be honest with you, this day and age, I would stay with self-publishing because it is more than the new wave. I mean, it's an established thing. And even the traditionally published authors are publishing self. So it can be a hybrid. You can do both. It's very, very expensive unless you're famous, unless you get you're got an in and you're lucky or you're famous to not have to pay gobs of money. But you can expect to pay probably around $20,000 and up to sell to traditionally published. And then you have to do all the marketing.
Yep.
And it's not yours. The beauty of self-publishing is the baby is yours. The entire creation is yours. You have your say in everything. And that's the beauty of it. You have full control.
Creative control is huge. I mean, that's a
Huge.
very, very big part
Yeah.
of any creative process is
Right.
having that control and not
Right.
having to bow down to whatever the editor or the
Right.
publisher wants.
Right. And it takes a really long time for traditional. So you write a book, it could be a year or more out before it gets published. With self-publishing, when you're done, you do it.
So you said it's about $20,000 to self-publish or to work with
traditional. I mean, I don't have the
traditional.
exact facts on that, so don't quote me. People
Mhm.
don't take that as the truth, but it's up in that level. So
Is it about about the same cost to self-publish?
it depends. All right. Like if you wanted to, again, it depends on your goals. Say you wanted to just do it because you want to put a memoir out about your pets to your family, or just to heal your heart. You want to see it published. You want to give it to people. You can do it very cheaply. Basically, you can do your own cover for free on canva.com.
Right.
Everything, or you can even do it on Amazon now. And that doesn't cost anything. If it's just for yourself, you don't need an editor and anything like that. So you can pretty much do it on pennies.
Wow.
And just time. However, if you do want to sell it, don't go that route because it won't market well. So it's important to have a good editor, a good proofreader. If you're writing fiction, some beta readers, even for nonfiction. I didn't use them for nonfiction, but I use them for fiction. I do my own formatting. It's very easy to do your own formatting. There's programs that you can do. In the first book, I would suggest hiring a formatter. And then definitely a cover. We do judge books by their covers.
Yep.
And I remember my pet loss books, the first book I put out a cover. It was doing very well. But when I changed the cover, my sales went it was unbelievable. And I hit the bestseller list again, and I was getting bulk orders. And it was amazing how much that changed. Yeah.
So how do you help authors? Because you do also do coaching or.
Yes. So I have for your listeners, a clarity session. So it's normally $147, and I'm doing it for $79 for your people. Basically for anything you want. I advertise it as, get clear on your idea. What do you want to write? How do you want to write? But if you wanted to just call, and set up something and you needed some kind of advice, as far as writing is concerned, I'm self-publishing. I'm happy you can use the time any way you want. I'm very good at help people getting clear, is getting beyond the self-doubt and the feeling that they can't do it, and really hone in. I've got that ability, probably because I do communication work and I'm, very intuitive and psychic, is I can hone in on like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. This is the way to do it.
Right.
So, we can get a plan. So I help people to do that. And also with my coaching clients, I help them get their books from page to published. So I take them through all the steps. They're writing their book, how to put it up on Amazon, how to, find cover designers. I share some of my cover designers with them, formatters, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so awesome, because really most people are going to start from scratch, and just the time involved researching when you can just access somebody like you who has 26 books of experience.
Right. And I have made a lot of mistakes, and I have spent a lot of money on this. And so I can help people not spend so much money because, because I can say, no, don't do that.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So what would a clarity session kind of look like? What does it look like? Just somebody comes and presents their idea to you?
Yeah. It's like, all right, let me think of, because everybody's different. It depends on the person. So if I get a call from somebody that sets up a clarity session and they're not sure if they want to write a pet book, I'm going to go, let's go fiction. If they want to write a memoir or a series, say like an urban fantasy with pets in it or something like that, I will connect in, because you do use my intuition. I will connect into whom I need to connect in with my guides and all that. And I listen to what the people say, and then I get direction from that. But I also use my knowledge and expertise to formulate what is needed. So maybe that person right now, because they're a new author, say, a memoir would be less intimidating. Or maybe if they came and said, all right, I want to write fiction, maybe it's like, well, you know what? Maybe you should try a fiction book first. A nonfiction book first.
Okay.
And because that's really easy to write, because you're solving a problem. So I calm the chaos and I set the stage for people to feel really good about what they're doing and what they want to give to the world, because that's so important as writers and budding writers. We all have something to share. And I love helping writers. I don't, like when people come to me even for cozies, for ideas and to dig deeper into what they're doing, I don't see that as competition. We all have to be in this together. And I think the more of us that are writing and getting the word out, makes the world a better place,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And people, like you said, especially in fiction, they will like devour that one series and be ready for another one in maybe the same genre.
Right. And maybe you don't even want to publish books. Maybe you just want to become a blogger, and that's awesome. So I help people do that as well.
And these people who are writing, they don't have to be in the pet genre or the cozy genre. It could be any genre.
Anybody. I work with people I've had clients in erotica. I've had people with urban fantasy. Yes, I've had horror, all kinds of genres. I've had weight loss people for the nonfiction. I've had, all children's books, you name it.
Oh, awesome. Very cool. Yeah. And for blogging too, it could be a mom blogger, it could be a sports blogger, it could be anybody.
Right.
Awesome. So tell us, how would our listeners and viewers reach out to you, take advantage of the special that you have for our listeners? Where would they find you?
Okay. You would go to www.wendyvandepoll.com, and that's the clarity session.
Okay. And then how about for your books? What's the best way to buy your books?
The best way to go on my books is to just go on Amazon, and you can put my name in. My last name is 3 words. So you can just put my name into Amazon as a search and you'll see all my books there. And if you want the fiction, you need to put Melanie Snow, because that is 2 different accounts.
For those that have lost a pet recently or are making a decision to help their pet transition, I highly recommend Wendy's
Thank you.
books. Do you want to speak very quickly about the bereavement series?
Sure. People can find, if they go to my website, Center for Pet Loss Grief, there's even a free gift on that one. And I also have a free gift on Wendy Van de Poll too. The pet bereavement, that series, it's really quite beautiful. I love writing that. And one is for pet hospice. That's the is books. My dog is, or my cat is. And then there's one for after, when they've reached the end of their life. And that's my dog has and my cat has. And they just really take hold. I'm there to create a safe space. And we all know we've all lost our pets. And thankfully there's more people that are understanding, but there's still those that say things that really can rock our worlds and make us feel like we're nuts. And my books give you that support. And so does my website. I have a lot of blog articles, and I have a lot of resources on that website.
Well, I will say that my dog has passed, or my cat has passed.
Yeah.
Those would be a great gift for somebody who
Yes.
has faced the decision of euthanizing
Yes.
their pet, or whose pet has passed.
Right.
Sometimes we send them a little token of our support and sympathy. A book like yours would be a huge help, because many people
Yes.
don't know who to talk to.
I have a pet poetry book.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes. And that one is so sweet. I don't know if you can see it, but it's like
Pet
it's
loss
so-
poems.
Yes. So that one is, people love that for gifts.
Perfect. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Wendy, for taking the time to chat with us, for sharing
Yes.
all of your stories and your expertise with us. I want to propose a toast to you for all that you do and all the inspiration you brought this morning, and I'm sure you're going to continue to bring. Thank you for spending your Saturday morning with me.
Oh, thank you, Isabel. Love you, girl.
You're so welcome. I want to propose a toast to our executive producer, Mark Winter, for making this show possible, and to our listeners on Pet Life Radio and our viewers on YouTube. Thanks for spending your time with me and drinking with me and Wendy today. Here's to a life covered in pet hair, because there's no better way to live. Cheers. To learn more about Covered in Pet Hair, please visit coveredinpethair.com or petliferadio.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.